and I'm one of them. I've already worked enough in this lifetime. You see, I'm a homemaker. I got nothing but time and opportunity. I don't fear pain. I don't fear death. I don't fear jail. And I sure as shit don't fear prison. So let's make this happen, Chad. Come out of hiding. Show us who you really are. Because I can guarantee you, you'll only get one chance. Better make it count. Have the day you deserve, coward. Oh, I forgot to say. TikTok, do your thing. Let's find out who this little coward is, this little clown shoe. Let's find out who they are.
The flag behind me seems to really trigger a lot of snowflakes. And yes, I am your worst nightmare. So let's get one thing clear. If you have a problem that I have this flag in my classroom, stop following me right now. Just block me. Or better yet, leave a comment so I know who I can block. Because I will never stop supporting the rights of all individuals to be loved for who they are. And yes, I do teach about stuff like this in my classroom. Thank you for asking. I teach about Marxism. I teach about socialism. I teach about trans rights. I teach about LGBTQ history. I teach about Black history. I teach about the racial history of our country and the genocide that we have inflicted upon Indigenous people. I teach about redlining and Africville and the Starlight Tours. I teach about the history of Sir John A. Macdonald. I teach about wealth inequality in Canada and the concentration of wealth in the 1%. I talk about the prevalence of LGBTQ and trans people in millennial and Gen Z generations and compare it to left-handedness. I teach about intersectionality. I teach about the Polytechnic Massacre. I teach about the 60s scoop. And do you want to know why I teach about these things? Because they are important and because they are related to the curriculum. I do not push anything on my students. All I do is show them the world that we live in. The one thing I could be argued of pushing on my students, if anything, is that we should all be loved and respected for who we are. And because of the courses that I teach, all of this can be connected to curriculum. But beyond that, in Ontario, under the Education Act, teachers essentially have the right to teach whatever they think is beneficial to their students. There is obviously a boundary to that, but what I talk about in my classroom, what I do in my classroom, will not break any of the rules. Just because you're a triggered snowflake who can't handle gay people existing does not mean that what I am doing is by any means wrong. It just means that you're an antiquated dinosaur, and sooner or later your children will think to themselves, why does my parent think that way? Why does my parent act that way? Why does my parent talk that way? Because sooner or later, whether it's in school or out there in the real world, they will understand and acknowledge that there are adults who love and respect all people regardless of how they were born, and they will wonder why you don't.
I wear a mask because 15% of trans people have long corona. This includes many of my friends. And other friends are high risk because of their disabilities. Technically, nearly everyone in my social circle is high risk for long corona because trans people are considered higher risk for it. I wear a mask to protect them and myself. Wearing a well-fitted respirator reduces your chances of catching the virus and can lower the viral load you are exposed to. My dad has had 2 heart attacks. My grandfather passed away from one. I never met him. The crown virus increases your risk for heart attacks. I've caught it twice. When women have heart attacks, doctors are more likely to dismiss their symptoms as anxiety. This is especially true for trans women. Heart attack symptoms present differently in both cis and trans women than they do in men. Doctors don't always know that. Even if they do, they often think trans women are men. This medical transphobia has ended lives. Every day, I think of the odds that it will end mine.
So, you're going no contact. You're considering going no contact. You're 25% of the way toward an open door on the subject of no contact, and you're feeling guilty. So one of the things I needed to get over, I'm no contact with my family. All of them. Siblings, parents, extended family, cousins, everybody. And the thing I wanted to point out to you today in this video about going no contact is I didn't consider my own feelings, as painful as it is. The pain of being a person who goes no contact is nothing compared to the daily pain you've been in from being in relationship with these folks. I love you. Have a good time going no contact.